All right, good evening. Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Blitz. Gulf Coast Blitz. I swear I'm not drunk. I'm not feeling well. I'm definitely under the weather, but I should be able to speak English. And if you hear me cough during the show, my apologies. It started like this last night, but we're going to have a pretty good show for you. A really good show coming up in the next 45 minutes. Marty Pallman. He's Joshua Wilson of Florida HS Football. He's the healthy one of the two of us right now, it would seem. And, you know, Josh, we got through week one. I mean, some interesting games, and
yes,
we're going to talk about that a little bit later with our guests tonight from Polk County. Going to talk Lakeland.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk Lakeland, Miami Central, talk a little bit more about Polk County, and 863, the area code, is that Highlands region of Polk County and Highlands, and that particular region of where a lot of the citrus used to be growing out at one time.
Right,
and we'll talk about some of those teams down there, talk about what's going on, and some people were riding high on certain teams down there, and I think there was I was not sold, but here they are, and I'm like, well, we're gonna talk about that here coming up here in a moment here. So
yeah, we heard from the Lakeland folks last week telling us about they think their team could go down to Powell, beat Miami Central. We were skeptical. That'll be something we talk about in South Florida Blitz tomorrow night as well. But, you and I both took Miami Central in that game. So, and I think the computer spread was like 30-something, and we were like, wow, Lakeland can't win by that. Well, they did. They didn't, but they won. I mean, it didn't really matter how they won. They won. And a defensive struggle it was for Lakeland to win that game.
No, absolutely. And, all right, we're going to address this here in the comments here in a little bit here, but telling us we're a joke, no. We've got multiple reasons why we're not a joke here, okay? For a lot of teams, it is hard to go down, and we're going to talk about that here in a moment here, and we're going to talk about that during the game. This means the show, not the game.
I'm not really sure what that means, but okay. Polk.
But we'll go from there, and we'll roll it from there. But okay. With that said, Marty,
it's all right. Yep, let's start. There's the music. And we recap week one, looking at the Blitz lines.
And we're gonna go start straight. We're just gonna go straight into this.
And why not? Because this was the big game of the week involving the Gulf Coast team. And of course, two-time defending state champion Lakeland. They head down to Powell. A 16-8 win for the Treadnoughts at Powell. First time they played a regular season game in South Florida, and they get a big win against Miami Central, who was ranked number 1 in their classification.
And let's remember that we get it with Lakeland. We get it that Lakeland has dominated teams from South Florida, but
they just got beat last year by like 30 by them at home. Wasn't it? Is that Central? Didn't Central go in there?
No.
It was Norland.
I think it was Norland.
It was Norland. Norland went in there and beat them. I mean, it's not like that can't happen. That was at home. But I mean, we know Lakeland usually gets better as the season
Let me double
goes
check
on.
that, make sure that we're right, because I don't want to hear from the Lakeland. I don't want to hear from the Lakeland fans later on this one, because they are a very strong group. We will say that.
That's one word for it. And yeah, they Lakeland is a team that I mean, they're always good. We know that. We know that. It's not like we don't like Lakeland. I mean, I know the Dreadnoughts history. I know what they're about. But, I've been to Powell, and that place it's tough. It's tough to go in there and win, especially for a team from out of South Florida. But
yes,
anyway.
I mean, for a lot of teams, it's hard to go down there and play a game.
Yeah, I think Lakeland started 0-2 a year ago, but
lost by 14 to Norland. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna bring this up. We're gonna address this.
Okay.
All right, Ibrox 10. He says this is ridiculous. We don't have disrespect for Lakeland. I don't think you're listening to us here.
No, they're not. 9-time state champions. I'm aware of
Lakeland's history. We are very much aware of Lakeland's history. It's not the disrespect here. It wasn't the disrespect about going down there. We know that for a lot of teams that are outside of the Tri-County area in South Florida, it is hard to go down the Powell and win a game down there. Yep. Much props and much kudos to Lakeland.
Yes. So that should be the end of that.
Much props. It's respect for Lakeland, and hey, you know what?
I would say that they're favored to win another state title.
And honestly, I will tell you this right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Lakeland is number 1 in the sports media poll when it comes out tomorrow.
I agree.
I would not be surprised if they're number 1 in the sports media poll when it comes out tomorrow.
I don't know who this guy is, Ibrox, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. So we'll just. We didn't think. Of course, it was hard. Don't give me this crap about we didn't think it was hard. It's hard to go down there and win. Whatever. Okay, I'm done with that.
but it's not. There's no disrespect here for Lakeland.
No, I never was. I mean, jeez. Anyway,
we just know that Trash Pal is a difficult environment for teams. Even the great Larry Bluestein will tell you that for a team that is not familiar with Trash Pal, going down the Trash Pal, it is a difficult environment to play in.
Right. So anyway, doesn't matter now. They won, and I might pick Lakeland in every other game.
Hey, if you want me to eat crow, I'll eat crow here.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat anything, but don't say the Lakeland there because Chris Rainey would win.
Mark Cannon.
Well, I mean, that's coming from
don't sweat the Lakeland.
That's coming from a Seminole fan. So I mean, really, it was tough enough for them this week. But,
I get it. I'm glad y'all are watching, Lakeland fans. Hey, we want all the fans around the state to be watching these shows, so we appreciate it. So no, thank you. We
move on. We got
other topics to talk about.
We'll talk about this more later on with our guests tonight. But Tampa Catholic, they Trinity Catholic goes from Ocala down to Tampa and. They get blown out 40-14 by the Crusaders of Tampa Catholic, the battle of the Catholic schools, and already Tampa Catholic looking pretty good to start the season. Meanwhile, once again, Trinity Catholic, kind of similar to last year, the schedule is really tough, and they start with a loss against Tampa Catholic down in Tampa.
No, absolutely, and honestly, Marty, this for the Crusaders, hey, great win, go up to Ocala. I mean, Trinity Catholic is no push around, I should say.
No,
especially with John Brantley III as the head coach up there.
I mean, we saw it last year. They went 3-7 in the regular season and played for a state title. Nearly won it against Cardinal Mooney. But yeah, obviously, always a pretty good team, and they take a big L down in Tampa.
Yes.
Again, bear with me here. Every now and then the throat kind of seizes a little bit, but we're doing okay so far as we move along. This is a really big story to me. The number one team nationally, according to some polls. IMG Academy, I don't know when the last time they lost a game was. They go to Utah and lose by a point to Corner Canyon.
Yes, and it shows to everybody that, hey, just because you're IMG Academy does not mean you can't beat them. You can.
Yeah.
And Corner Canyon did it, and honestly, you know what? We were talking about on the last show on the Central Florida Blitz that Coco will be playing IMG Academy next week, and that'll obviously be on our picks for next week. For probably, I think if it's at IMG Academy, it will be on this show, I believe. So honestly, I'll tell you this right now, it will be on the picks. I think Coco has a good chance. I mean, as we said, Coco's on Planet Coco, so we think that hey, there's a chance that when we talk about that game next week that. Yeah, we potentially could be picking Coco for that win.
Well, I mean, but that's a big win. The Corner Canyon, I think, was ranked 20th nationally. I mean, but then again, for IMG, it was I mean, I know you're going to say they're not a Florida team. Some people say that. I mean, they are based in Bradenton, so we talk about them. We talk about them on the Gulf Coast, even though a lot of other players come out of state. But this team has been ranked number one nationally, it seems like, the last 3-4 years. And, it was kind of the story of the week here in Florida. I mean, we'll talk again tomorrow night more on the South Florida Blitz, but 5 of the top 6 teams in your top 20 preseason poll lost. The only one that won was Coco, and IMG was number 2 in that. So, sorry, they weren't. Yeah, they were. So, interesting week. Everyone kind of, and again, there was a lot of national games too. But yeah, tough week for the Florida teams in those games down in South Florida and for IMG. All right.
Armwood flexes a muscle with Gaither. Hawks take care of the Cowboys on the road, and it was like 40-19. And honestly, to be honest with you, it's Armwood is just really rocking and rolling here. The Hawks are potential, in Class 6A. They're a favorite.
Yeah. Well, don't say that because Lakeland's not in there, but because I'm not saying I would say Armwood could beat Lakeland, but Armwood does look better. They do. And a big win for them were Gaither. Gaither's got a tough meeting with. They got to play Plant this week, so we'll talk about Plant in a little bit. But Armwood looks like they're back. Meanwhile, Bishop Verot.
Out, and it looks like it may have just gone out. Hopefully not. And we're gonna try to power this up. Just keep talking, Marty, as we try to keep here thing act like if it's radio. And
Don't know if that's weather related, but the weather's pretty bad here right now in Gainesville, but where we're located. But yeah, live show. Sorry that happens, and we'll work on it. Bishop Verot, though, that again a big win for them, and beating a really good Jesuit.
Yeah, we
team
just
as
lost
always.
internet. We lost internet. It says no sound, so we're trying to figure out. Hold on a second, everybody. We're sorry. We're thing and see. Hopefully, okay. Yeah, we just had an internet blip in our connection. We're having some nasty weather up here in the Gainesville area here, so where we're based out of, and some storms have
For like the
come
last
through here. So
24 hours, really.
yeah. So we're having some internet connection troubles here, and we're doing our best we can here.
We're back apparently. So cool. All right. So Bishop Verot, we were talking about them, and we will talk more about them later in our picks. Meanwhile, well, how about this game? Venice 63, Tampa Bay Tech 40. They combined for 103 points in week 1. And once again, Venice, they love playing these kind of games. You know, we saw them last year, the state championship game, lose 54-42 Lakeland. And but Venice puts up 63. They gave up 40, but a big win. So again, Venice, a team that, well, I wouldn't have to see Lakeland this year, but they are off to a really good start and a good win against Tampa Bay Tech. And another shootout there in Venice.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a place that Powell Davis Stadium is an environment that you go down there. I've had the privilege of going to a game down there, and honestly, it's just an environment. The fans are rowdy down there, and I mean, the Venice, they can get into these barn burners, and this is what happens, and especially in an environment like that, it's all offense, forget the defense.
Really,
that's what happened here.
Right, it is, and that's the way they play. It seems like, but. And they got another big game. Yeah, Miami Northwestern comes in this week. We'll talk about that coming up in our picks, pick 6. But Northwestern, who won fairly easily in week 1. My apologies. This microphone's right in front of me. We'll head to Venice here this week. Meanwhile, as we see, here we go. How about this? Clearwater Central Catholic, CCC, knocks out the defending state champion Berkeley Prep. That's a game from our picks last week. Another one that I lost that Josh won. So
we'll talk about that.
The Marauders able to beat the Buccaneers 28-14.
No, absolutely. And I'm waiting to see where our guests are at. They have not popped in yet, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on, why they are not popped in yet. And we'll keep going. But yes, the Marauders. I mean, hey. Hats off to CCC knocking down the defending state champs from Class 2M last year, and Berkeley Prep. But Berkeley Prep is no pushover by any means. So I mean, to get a big win right there, that will definitely bolster the strength of schedule when the playoff rankings start to come about here after week 5.
Yeah, and they've got another big one this week. Both teams do. Berkeley Prep and Clearwater Central Catholic. Clearwater Central Catholic has Sebring coming in this week, and Berkeley Prep, their home opener against Sarasota Booker. So that'll be. We'll both have those games on our pick 6 as well, coming up here a little bit later. Next game, Plant. This was a game we had last week as well. They're able to get by Carrollwood Day. It was a close game for a while. Plant ends up winning 28-14. More defense in this game, but they went on the road at Carrollwood Day to the Plant Panthers. And Carrollwood Day, another team that has a chance to contend for a state title. They dropped to 0-1. Plant goes to 1-0. So the Plant Panthers get the win there. And
yes, indeed. And sorry, the thing I was just checking to see if the link for our guest was actually working. I'm just double checking it, and I know it's working. So we don't know where our guests are sitting at here.
We will hopefully get them on the air as well, but again, live, so you never know. Plant wins, as we said. They beat Carrollwood Day, and then finally we go down to Southwest Florida. Naples, boy, Sarasota Riverview goes down to Collier County and gets a big beating, 47-14. So looks like Naples is pretty good again. They're off to a good start. And by the way, this week we have the Riverview Bowl.
Yes, Riverview versus Riverview.
Sarasota Riverview and Riverview will play.
Well, we have the Sarasota County Riverview and we have the Hillsborough County Riverview.
That's right, exactly. So, but Naples, good start for them. And good win for them to beat Riverview team, Sarasota Riverview, that went down there opening week. All right. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping our guests are going to come on because they told us they were coming, and I worked at the thing to get both of them on here, and we have not seen any sign of them at this particular point, and they're not sitting in our queue here. So right. And I've kind of disappointed a little bit right just thinking about that, if I should say.
That's all right. I mean, I understand, and we thought we'd have them. Hopefully we'll still hear from them. We still have another 30 minutes here of our show tonight. We will go ahead though and take our first water break. I need some water anyway, with my throat the way it is. So we're gonna do that. 2-minute break. We'll come back and see if our guests come in. We will otherwise talk about.
We'll talk about some other games and stuff.
A lot of other things, right? Coming up in the Gulf Coast Blitz.
Well,
yeah, we were talking about in our last show, the Central Florida Blitz, about the lot of weather issues in Central Florida. We had some up this way. I tell you right now, I just heard a gigantic thunder, outside. It was really loud. So we've got some weather here. If we were gonna have a game here tonight, we probably wouldn't play because it's been raining for about 4 hours heavily and lightning. So, but luckily it's a Monday. And,
yes, and with that said, our guests are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and apologize for that. I don't know what else.
And they were given all the information, so I don't know where they're at, and I apologize everybody for that. But we will. How about this? This is what's called. I mean, Charles Bell. We everything was set. We got it set up and everything, and we're asking if PolkWay. We're trying to get him on, and I don't know. I messaged him, and I've messaged both Hasani and Landlin, and I messaged them and to see if they were supposed to be on, because I told them at 8:40 and to be on, and I haven't seen them, so I apologize. And hopefully we'll, if something didn't come up, and but hopefully we'll get them on here on a future show if that's the case.
Yeah, and again, we've covered. I mean, I know I saw that Charles Bell was asking. We're going to talk about Lakeland Central
a little bit more.
I'm like, at this point, I don't know if I really want to, but no. I mean, seriously, it was the game of the week, and I know we just, we've got one Lakeland guy who's calling us out, and that's fine. That's what we're here for. We're here to take that stuff, and that's okay.
I'm here to eat a little crow, or like they say.
I've never eaten crow in my life, but I don't really want to start.
I don't want to eat crow. I want to. I'm not talking quite literally, but I'm talking about more towards just like eating. Just saying, hey, I know I was wrong, and I admit I was wrong last week. Okay, I mean, I get it. Hey, I give it hats off to Lakeland for going down the trash pallet and beat Miami Central. Just simple as that. There's no other way to say it.
I don't think that was ever not the case, but we'll see how it continues for Lakeland this season, because clearly some of their fans think, I thought they were going to go to Central and win by 40, like the computer said. Well, they won by 8, so it was a close game. It wasn't like it was a blowout. Lakeland won though. They won 16-8. So, and it's funny because they won the state title last December at a 54-40 game against Venice.
Oh,
so,
hey, we got him. We got Hasani on, and so let's. I'm gonna go pop it up here in just a second here, Marty, and Hasani is here, and we'll go ahead and bring that up here on the screen and bring Hasani on here. Hey, my man, Hasani Harper from H2 Athletes, and maybe I misspelled athletes in the screen, but that's my fault there. But recruit polkflorida.fl.com, and Hasani. I'm glad you finally got on. Because you were eyewitness to what happened last week down in South Florida with Lakeland and Miami Central, and honestly, that is a game that I'll admit it. I was wrong. I was wrong about taking Miami Central in this game, but I know that Travis Powell is in a hard environment for teams that are not familiar with that environment going down there. And talk about what did the Dreadnoughts do right that Miami Central didn't do right in this game, when you're looking at both of these teams.
Well, I think the biggest thing they did right was play defense. They say defense wins championships, and if people have been paying attention to the Dreadnoughts all the way back since last spring when they played Tampa Jesuit, a Division I recruited quarterback, 0 touchdowns in the air. You look at their kickoff classic against Plant City, another Division I committed quarterback, 0 points given up. And then you look at this game against Miami Central last week, only 1 touchdown given up in the air. So credit to their secondary first and foremost for doing a good job of limiting big plays in that game, but then also keeping them out of the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like you said, defensively, Lakeland, they have been always solid. Although, that state championship game last year, they had to score 54 against Venice. They can play either way, it seems like. But Venice is a team you got to score a lot of points against anyway to win. And Lakeland did it that way, and then they did it with a low-scoring game against Central.
You got to think, too, it's a different defense as well.
Right.
A lot of those guys that were on that state championship team, they're not there. New defensive unit. And so a lot of the guys that they did have come back, as well as some of the new guys that they brought in, have done a good job of really limiting teams, both explosive plays, but then again, keeping them out the end zone. And so again, like they're going to make another run similar to last year. It's going to start with that defense. They're off to a great start so far.
No, absolutely. And when we look at what Coach Frazier's done here, and this is only his second year as the head coach. I mean, he just basically picked up the mantle from Coach Castle, and he's doing everything. But I feel like what the biggest thing I want to say that I've already seen difference-wise is that Coach is already willing to kind of maybe push the envelope a little bit more than what Coach Castle did. He's taking that, maybe, hey, maybe instead of having more home games, hey, let's go, maybe let's take this a little bit on the road. I mean, do you feel like that's what you're seeing here in terms of what he's doing now, and especially now year 2 for him?
I think it's that, but then it also is a combination of there's just locally some teams that just don't want to play them anymore. And so now they don't have that opportunity to have the home games that people are used to, the amount of home games that we're used to seeing them have. They're having to actually do a lot more traveling because a lot of the teams locally just will refuse to play them for whatever reason.
Man, and then, and with that said, we're not going to just strictly focus on Lakeland here, because there's another team that some people talked, and I think people had them high on the list in Polk County, and that was Bartow, and they go to Clearwater and get shut out. And I'm sitting here like, what's going on with Bartow? Because Bartow has been talked about. Bartow, had a really solid season, improvement wise last year, but now all of a sudden you come out of the gate and you get shut out to start the season. So I mean, what's going on over there at Bartow?
So to be real with you, I haven't had a chance to really sit down and watch any of their film yet. But I know, I can only guess, but one of the issues that they ran into last year was issues up front on the offensive line. And the question marks at the quarterback position. And I'm not sure if those are issues that are still, plaguing them for this current season. But the fact that they haven't been able to score any points is a glaring issue, especially for a team that had such high hopes coming into this season.
No, absolutely. Good. Now, looking at it, with Polk County itself, I mean, Polk County's just been a plethora, of talent, and football teams down there, just really strong football teams. And I saw a couple of mentions on Twitter, especially with Landlin, what he was saying on if you follow PolkWay, it's at PolkWay for his account. Hasani is at H2_recruiting. Hasani, when we're looking at it, I think someone was talking about Coach Tate over there at Ridge Community because, I mean, it seems like, year one when he's taking over a program and, this is actually back in, his second stint there over at Ridge Community. For
actually third stint.
Is the third stint? Stint. Hey, man, shoot! I see. This is where sometimes where the number of stints start to blend in together, and because we had that same issue up here in the Gainesville area, where
too many stints,
to count and keep count on it. It seems like, but for Coach Tate himself, Landon was mentioned about something like, usually in year two, Coach Tate being one of the old school coaches, but I mean, he's got something going with those guys this year for year two. I mean, is that what it seems to be the trend for Coach Tate whenever he touches a program at Polk?
Yeah. So of course, when you get that new coach to come in, you'll have those kids who decide, hey, maybe his style isn't for me. I'm finna go finish my career someplace else, and then you'll have those who decide to stay. The great thing about with Coach Tate being there at Ridge for so many years, and so many of those former players still in that community, they're there to really talk them up, talk to the current generation of kids and let them know that he is the guy to play for. And so a full year into his weight training program, a full year being able to listen to some of the lessons that he has to teach those players that has worked for players in the past that have been coached by Coach Tate. You're starting to see the fruits of that labor. And so for the performance they had last week, unfortunately, against my alma mater, you could see the results of being a full year under Coach Tate's regime. And so great performance by those players, especially I want to give a shout out to Levonsky Tubbs, who rushed for over 200 yards and had 190 or 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So great performance by that running back there.
No, absolutely, Hasani. And, I mean, when it comes to other teams, I know for you, I know one team that I know you catch a lot of flack and everything with that, and is your Kathleen your Kathleen High School Red Raiders. Red Raiders, right? Yeah, is it Red
Devils?
Red Devils. Sorry, excuse me. I'm having a thing trying to adjust our volume here. Apparently, I guess we're being told is that our volume is not loud enough, and I've got it all the way up to max settings here. Okay. So, but
the Red Devils.
But the Red Devils. I mean, what is it going to take for Kathleen to get back to prominence? Because at one time they were a proud program, and I know it's been a struggle for a while now. So, and I mean, what is going on over there?
Your question is as good as mine. I think the biggest thing that they've been hurt with the last few years, or probably more years than that, is just kids leaving out of the program. And so it's literally like they're starting a new season with young kids every single year. And so it's hard to really get a program going when every year you don't have any upper level experience, a part of your program kind of leading those younger guys. It's younger guys trying to lead younger guys. And so they're lacking the experience that is needed at the varsity level to produce wins. So biggest thing is if they can keep this younger core that they have together, and those guys can stay together for the next few years, and then, hopefully they can get things turned around. But those are definitely questions that's got to be answered pretty soon.
Yeah. We have a question. Well, not a question or a comment. We'll go ahead and say this out loud because it's
here. I'll pull it up. Which question is that, Marty?
The one at the bottom from Brett. He says, surprisingly enough, Lakeland is not the only high school in Polk. A little snarky there. Of course, George Jenkins had a big win in a new division. Monster, like top running back and great QB. What do you know about George Jenkins to this? I know it's still just past week 1 of the season.
Well, again, another team that I haven't been able to get the chance to watch film on, but they've done a good job of getting a hot start off to their season. They haven't really hit the meat and potatoes of their schedule yet, but they're doing what a team is supposed to do, and that's producing wins against the teams that you're lined up across against. So shout out to them. Shout out to that experienced O-line that they have this upcoming season. And shout out to the running back. I want to say it's Trey Evans. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. But back-to-back over 100-yard rushing games for for the George Jenkins Eagles.
No, absolutely. And, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what, outside of Lakeland being, a possible, state title contender, is there anybody else in Polk County this year? Is even Lake Wells back in the mix, or is that a no?
No, I'd say Lake Wells got a shot. Quarterback's back for another year under their system. Again, an experienced offensive line, which is very important in the high school game. You got to be able to win the battle in the trenches. And then, of course, skilled players galore on both sides of the ball. So that's a team that I definitely think will be in the conversation. I think we'll get a lot of questions answered about how deep of a run they can make with their game against Orlando Jones.
Oh, absolutely. And so what? You don't have anything, Marty?
No, I'm good.
You're good. But if there's anything else, Hasani, what is to give a little bit people more about where to follow you and more about what you do with especially with recruitpolkfl.com, especially that since I know you launched that earlier this year.
Yeah, so I do a lot of recruiting work, primarily here in Polk County with the local athletes, with marketing and promoting those guys that the college coaches that I feel like need to know about. I have a following. A large following college coaches that follow me on my Twitter account, H2_recruiting. And so I just do what I can to help promote the local athletes here in my hometown and make sure that the coaches who do come to our state and recruit our area are in to know about those guys that they need to know about.
No, absolutely. And so we definitely appreciate you popping on and joining us here and talking from football, and we'll definitely be following along with Hasani. Follow the H2_recruiting. You definitely don't want to miss it because they definitely provide a lot of updates every Friday night, or even sometimes Thursday nights, depending on if it's a Thursday night game. So definitely,
as a matter of fact, Lake Region and Winter Haven, they play this Thursday, and that'll be one of the games that I'll be covering. Okay. And I'm still trying to figure out which game I'm gonna go on Friday, but right now it's still a toss-up. But I'll definitely be at that game on Thursday.
No, absolutely. And Hasani, definitely appreciate you taking some time, and hopefully we'll get both you and Landlin on at some point together, because I know that was a big thing, and we'll definitely get y'all as we get closer, and that's the playoff picture starts to shape up later on in the season.
All right, appreciate you having me on.
No, appreciate it, Hasani. Thank you so much, and take care. All right.
Y'all take care.
All right. That was Hasani Harper joining us here on the Gulf Coast Blitz, and we definitely appreciate him. And
he came in like 2 minutes after we thought he would. He was there. It was a good interview. So he said, Josh, everything worked out.
Yes, it does.
Once again. And you know what? It's time for me to get some water. and as well as Josh and as well as everyone listening, it's water break number 2. And we come back. Fan question of the week.
Yes,
and
indeed.
We'll have our pick 6, so we'll wrap it up here on this 3rd edition of the Gulf Coast Blitz. Marty Pallman, Joshua Wilson with you as you watch us tonight here on Twitter X, on Instagram, also on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yes, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Right after this.
Boy, it is storming outside.
Yes, it is.
Close lightning strike, thunder, very loud outside. It's a good thing we're inside doing a show tonight and not at a game, because again, in this area we probably wouldn't have football. But again, I guess in the Gulf Coast area, really no problems, as much problems with the weather as we had in Central Florida and maybe North Florida. I don't think there were a lot of postponements or games that were delayed.
Yes,
I heard about. So hopefully that will continue, knock on wood, here week 2 as we get ready for week 2. And in a moment, our pick 6 for week 2. But first, it's time for
the fan question of the week.
The fan question of the week.
And actually, we got a bunch of questions sitting here in the thing, and yeah, we just heard another thunder boom. So we're having is literally right over us tonight here.
Yeah. So it's been like this. It's like
before I actually kind of get into some of the questions that are more for this region, I do have a question here, and I'm going to pop up. And someone asked, "Is like, do y'all discuss the Panhandle or only Central Florida?" Well, Joe, tomorrow is North Florida. That's where the Panhandle is at, and that shows every Tuesday night, 8:30 to 9:15. For the North Florida Blitz. So we put the Panhandle in that section. So the Panhandle, all of the I-10 corridor is along in the North Florida Blitz. So
and the Central Florida Blitz we have tonight, 7:30, 8:15. This is the Gulf Coast Blitz. So yeah, we have 4 shows, 2 on Monday and 2 on Tuesday. So and
if you see in our graphics, the counties that are highlighted green are the counties that we're actually focusing on for each of those shows. So
now that being said, he was somebody asked about South Sumter earlier,
and they are part of this with the Gulf Coast Blitz,
and they had to take that long trip to Niceville, and again we'll talk about that a little more tomorrow.
But we got some questions here.
Yeah, we do, man. It's getting lined up. So let's go ahead and start.
Let's see. Let me look at some of this stuff here, and we'll some of the comments we'll come back and put in here in a few minutes here. But let's go through here and put a couple of questions up here. Actually, we've got here. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing anybody, and. How do we feel about Middleton pulling out a scrappy win? Well, Middleton always pulls out scrappy wins, so I'm good with that right there, Alexander. So definitely for sure for that. But Alexander has another question. Do you see a team like Lakeland beating Armwood or Tampa Bay Tech or Plant? Well, of course. Lakeland's Lakeland. Come on now.
I could also lose to those teams. Anything's possible. I'm sure I just made everybody upset in Lakeland, but you know what?
Congratulations, Marty. Now you're gonna get a lifetime ban from Bryant Stadium.
I'll take it. Yeah.
No, just kidding.
But no, I don't know. It's funny. It's a great place to go to a game. I love going to Lakeland. Armwood, I'd love to see them play Armwood, Plant. I think with Lakeland, yeah, I definitely think they beat those teams. I would favor them to beat those teams. So, especially after a win in Miami like that. But a good question there, Lakeland. As the season goes on, I guess we'll see. And
someone asked what about Davenport? Well, Davenport, there's still new kids on the block in a kind of a way there in Polk County. And
the Patriots, that's right.
No, they're not the Davenport Patriots. That's the New England Patriots. That's his. I
don't really know a whole lot of
Davenport or the Broncos.
They're the Broncos. Yeah, and he's got the New England Patriots logo. My apologies. Either way, but Davenport still in pretty new school there.
And Mike Tactic asks, can a two loss Villages team make it to the two play? I think those losses will come from Lecanto and Cocoa. Well,
Cocoa, yeah. Lecanto,
I'm not so sure about, but we'll see what happens there. But Cocoa, definitely a yes on that loss. I will say that.
Yeah, but I think Cocoa's going to beat everybody.
But I think the Villages will can make the playoffs. I mean, that region, depends on how the rankings shake out. That's the biggest thing, honestly. And we're still early into this, so it's anything can happen. I've seen when the rankings come out at around week 4, week 5, and we look totally different by the time they come around to week 11, be right before the last game of the season's played.
By the way, we know there'll at least be one state championship game in the Villages this year. And of course, that announced last week that the rural classification championship will be played at the Villages at the as they call it, the Range Villages, Buffalo.
The HG Moore Stadium, as they call it. Now they're not even calling it really technically the Range anymore because it's a stadium. And
it's a newer stadium.
The stadium is huge. And I mean, honestly, it looks like if it's something that Texas built in Florida.
All right, looking forward to seeing that coming up for the championship in December. So let's see, what else do we have here?
Actually, we got a couple of comments that we'll wait for the comments towards the end of the show. How about that?
That's fine. All right, because we got pick 6 to do. There it is. There's our music.
Yes, indeed. And
every week we pick 6 games and for the Gulf Coast. And time to see last week's results.
Actually, I think it's a little bit better than what we had in Central Florida.
South Florida is not good either.
We don't want to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. But let's go ahead and put up the numbers. Josh did it better than I did by a game. We'll have to see. Oh, I know what it was. CCC beating Berkeley Prep. That was the difference.
Yes, it was.
Josh goes 4-2, and I'm 3-3. I'm thinking overall we probably are tied. I think I had a 1-game lead last week.
And I do have a question. Someone just popped up real quick, and I just want to make thing for Chance Lucky, who asked if Marion County is actually in the North Florida Blitz. So tomorrow night.
He can't see the map. Okay, I know it is probably small on the screen.
But when you see the graphics when they pop up on the title card here, basically, I mean, actually, you know what? Real quick here before the thing, I can pop up the overlay here. If you see a little bit more here, you can see our
Citrus South, basically Citrus.
Yes,
into Sumter, down Hernando Pasco, and then towards.
So it's pretty much along the Gulf Coast, including the Highlands region area. So there you go.
That's where it starts. But yeah, Marion County is. We'll talk about them in North Florida tomorrow night. So. Appreciate that comment, though, and check us out tomorrow night at 8:30 for the North Florida Blitz. But, all right, let's see.
Let's see what our season results are here now, Marty.
And we are
8-4. Yes.
Yep, had a game on you last week. You picked up a game this week. So now 8-4, a little bit better. We were 6-5 in the other one, so a little bit better.
You don't want to see South Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're under 500 there after 2 weeks. But here we go. As we officially, it's week 2. This is the third week we've done picks. We did the SSA picks week 1, but this will be week 2 for the FHSA football. So here we go. What do we got starting off with?
Bishop Verot at Tampa Catholic.
Yeah.
Both teams are 1-0.
Another Catholic school matchup there. Bishop Verot, good win over Jesuit. They're in week 1. Tampa Catholic blows out Trinity Catholic. I don't know. It's going to be a good game. I mean, I can see Bishop Verot winning this game. I really can on the road, but I'm going to take the Crusaders of Tampa Catholic at home.
Well, I am going to be just slightly different here in this situation, and there's a reason why. I think Bishop Verot, they look like they bounced back. They learned their lesson from St. Thomas Aquinas, beat Jesuit, and there's a common opponent here in terms of for Bishop Verot is Tampa Catholic, Jesuit. They play each other at the end of the season, so common opponents right there. And I think hey, why not? Because at the end of the day, it can only help Bishop Verot win or loss in terms of their strength of schedule by the time the playoff rankings come around.
Well, that's we had no differences in Central Florida. That's the first one already here in the Gulf Coast. Bishop Verot for Josh, Tampa Catholic for Marty. All right, coming up next, game 2.
Sebring.
There's CCC after beating Clearwater Central Catholic, beating Berkeley Prep last week. Now they get a visit from, I love this name, the Blue Streaks of Sebring.
Yes, if you look at Highlands County, this is interesting, and I'm just going to point this out. I'm sure Emery Smith, who watches and listens to every show that we have, and we appreciate him watching. We'll bring up one of his comments towards the end of the show here, but this is pretty impressive. You have the Avon Park Red Devils, you have the Sebring Blue Streaks, and then Lake Placid the Green Dragons. So every school mascot, yes, they are colors.
Yeah, all the colors are covered there in that County Highlands. So yeah, that's nice. But this game, it's the Blue Streaks and the Marauders of CCC. And you know what? I think I learned my lesson last week with picking Berkeley Prep on the road there. And for that reason, I'm going to go Triple C this week.
Yes, Clearwater Central Catholic. Well, by the way, this is a much newer rivalry. Started in 2019. The CCC is 4-1 in this game. When was the only year that Sebring won this game? 2020.
I didn't realize this was a rivalry game, honestly.
It's a much newer kind of rivalry game. They like each other on the schedule, and it's a good little out-of-area test for both teams. And honestly, but for me, I got to go CCC here. I can't. I mean, what Chris Harvey is doing, what him and his entire team are doing, I mean, coaching-wise and the athletes, I mean, honestly, the Marauders are just looking really good. You get a big win over Berkeley Prep. Hey, what's not to be fired up? And they are fired up.
Fired up.
All
right. There you go. We both take CCC. Game 3. Well, there's Berkeley Prep again. They return home after the loss to Clearwater Central Catholic.
And there's Sarasota Booker.
Yeah, Booker wins their opener, so they're 1-0. And, well, I can tell you that after missing with Berkeley Prep week 1, I feel like they're going to go home and win this game and even their record at 1-1. So I'll take the Bucks to win.
Well, I'm going to take the Bucks to win this one here. I mean, honestly, I know the Tornadoes for Booker. They did really. They were state semifinalists last year. A surprising state semifinalists, I should say. Mm-hmm. And now, everybody's looking at him like, hey, all right, is Booker going to do it again this year? Well, we'll see. But, obviously upping the schedule, playing Berkeley Prep is obviously a good way to go about this. And to do better than what you did last year, obviously, you want, as they say, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So right. And here's one of the teams you can beat right here, who is a defending state champ. But I am going with the Buccaneers as well. Dom Sayo, hey. Dom Sayo knows how to do master classes in coaching when it really comes into to the biggest games, and he did that last year in the state championship game, and that is something I will never forget.
Yeah, right. Go and bring when you want to come up with a comment about something, bring up Ric Flair. You got to beat the man. You got to beat the man. So yeah, that's good. I agree with you. Berkeley Prep. So we will take the Bucks game 4.
And actually, before we really kind of get into that game number 4 here, Mark Cannon attended the Berkeley Prep CC game, and it was close until BP Cooper Hayes left the game in the middle of the second half for about 8 minutes.
I think CCC.
And honestly, you know what? Some of those things, it just can take one injury, it can take one player coming out of the game for a bit or something, or even a weather delay happening to break a momentum for a team. So definitely something that to think about.
Yeah, it is. So we'll see as that game goes on. But again, we picked Berkeley Prep at home. Here we go. Game 4. This is an interesting one to me. Wiregrass Ranch, and I'm trying to remember who they beat week 1. Clearwater had a big win week 1.
I've got it here because I've actually got it here on the thing here, and I will pull it up here on the terms of
some of these picks quickly.
Yes,
today,
I've got it right here. So Wiregrass Ranch, they defeated Cypress Creek out of Wesley Chapel 48-7.
Yeah, it's like a rivalry game there, basically. And then on the other side, Clearwater had a big win as well.
Yes, they did. Clearwater had a big win, and that was Bartow. Right? Yes, Clearwater beat Bartow. And I want to trying to go here. I think I want to say, hold on a second. I'm trying to see. Clearwater didn't. I think it was.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live here. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, Clearwater not receiving votes in the 4A section, but hopefully maybe this week they are going to receive some. But they Bartow receiving votes in the 7A and the 4HSFootball.com sports media poll. Yeah, it was a 30-0 loss for Bartow there. So, but Clearwater, hey, big win last week. Wiregrass Ranch, big win as well.
I'm going on a limb here, though. I think Wiregrass Ranch, pretty good team usually. And I know Clearwater is too, but Wiregrass Ranch wins this game on the road. I'm taking it.
You know what? Honestly, and I like what Mark Cantor has done with Wiregrass Ranch over the years. And I mean, Clearwater, don't get me Thor Josiak, they're the head coach there at Clearwater. I mean, great coach there too. But I am with you, Marty. I am going with the Bulls here for the win.
All right, the Bulls for the win. Wiregrass Ranch. But take the road team there. All right. Here's game 5. Cardinal Newman. They get a win week 1.
Carrollwood didn't get a win. The Carrollwood Day this week. Who lost to Bland 2014? Not a bad loss at all for Carrollwood Day here. Cardinal Newman goes down and beats the heck out of Monsignor Pace. So
good win for them. But Carrollwood Day at home again this week. And I think they're going to right the ship. I mean, again, losing to Plant, nothing wrong with that. Plant is a 6A school when Carrollwood's a 1A school. But I'll take Carrollwood Day to even their record at 101.
Well, I am going against the grain here, Marty. I am going very much against the grain, and I am going Cardinal Newman. Because you know what about Cardinal Newman? They have one of my favorite named coaches of all time in the Sunshine State by any high school football coach. His name is Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, right?
Jack Daniels. If you know Jack Daniels, he used to be at Dwyer.
Right, he was at Dwyer, and they had some state championships there. Some really good years.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I know it.
So he's trying to find a state championship for Cardinal Newman.
Definitely reminds me of that. How much I like Jack Daniels. So, but that is a great name for a coach. All right, final game.
Yes,
as we have had now 2 differences here. Final game is game 6. Yeah, how about this game? Northwestern coming from South Florida to play the Venice Indians. Teddy Bridgewater's Northwestern Bulls. We'll talk more about that again on the South Florida Blitz tomorrow night. But they get a 45-0 win at Coconut Creek in his first game as the coach. And now, they just have to play John Peacock's Venice team on the road. That's it. No big deal.
Yeah. But I've got a surprise for you, Marty.
You're surprised for me?
Yes.
I took Venice. Why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but I have a surprise for you.
You're going to take the Bulls, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All right. There we go.
Because you know what? After the first 2 weeks of seeing what Teddy Bridgewater has done, I mean, you go to Coconut Creek and you just basically gobsmack out of them and you shut them out. I mean, honestly, what else can you do here?
Well, Venice is coming off a win over Tampa Bay Tech, but it was 63-40. I mean, they just score a lot of points. But
I think Northwestern's got some defense here. So
and they usually do. They had a shutout week 1 against a pretty good Coconut Creek team. So that'll probably be the game of the week in the Gulf Coast area. Northwestern traveling over to play Venice. And so out of the 6 games, half we have differences. So it'll be an interesting week. We'll see if one of us can move ahead of the other in the picks heading into week 4 of our picks. All right. Well, let's see. Any more comments before we go?
Yes, indeed. And we'll go from there. And how about that?
No more comments?
Oh, we do have some comments.
Oh, we do. Sorry.
We do have some comments here.
Let's see. This is Emery. Appreciate Emery always as always. Hi, Josh and Marty. Past Friday, Hardy beat Fort Meade 28-20. Of course, big Hardy fan that he is. This is some of the best football I've seen Hardy play in a long time. We're back playing Smashville football like we used to 18 to 20 years ago. Absolutely love John Sharp's aggressive defensive style. We had so many roughing the passer penalties called on us, I couldn't keep count. Now, that's a good win though. I noticed that Fort Meade is probably down a little bit this year, but a good win to open the season for Hardy.
No, absolutely.
And let's see.
Justin Brandon says IMG runs the tail of the rest of the season. I'm not so sure.
I mean,
I'm not so sure.
They could definitely do that. I mean, I know the schedule will be pretty tough either way, but they've won, the last 3 years. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting after losing their first game. And let's see. Anything else?
Someone said surprisingly.
Well, we talked about that earlier.
Yes.
I asked, Hasani, Lakeland is not the only high school in Polk. Well, you would think that, though, by listening to this show. But, yeah, George Jenkins, he's expecting a lot out of there as well. And Emery again. Friday, Hardy at Frostproof. That's a nice matchup. Darren Bryan and Richie Marsh never faced each other first instance at coaches. Great game to watch. The 2 great teams, the 2 great coaches. Could be close and go either way. Frostproof now in the SSAA.
Yes, SSAA Atlantic Division.
That's right. So that'll be a good matchup at Frostproof. One of my favorite names for a town and a school in the state of Florida, Frostproof. And
yes, and I can't bring this up because there's a lot of things.
Mark Cannon asks, how come Venice plays all of their big games in Venice?
Actually, they've gone down the Trask Powell.
They have gone down there before, and
actually, they played Miami Northwestern there last year.
Yeah, which is why the Northwestern's coming up this year. But
yes,
yeah, and well, I mean, it's probably pretty easy to get teams to come to Venice. It's a nice facility, really nice stadium there. I don't know. I'm sure that Venice has no problem getting opponents to come to play them. But all right, well, I think that will do it. We appreciate our guest tonight, Hasani Harper.
Yes.
And from, was it PolkWay 863? Is that what it is?
Yes, PolkWay.
I got it. Thank you.
And then the H2_athletes on Twitter.
Athletes. All right. We got to a lot, and we'll get to a lot more next week. Again, 8:30 to 9:15. The Gulf Coast Blitz. For Joshua Wilson, I'm Marty Pallman. I'm going to try to get better, and then I'll talk to you all tomorrow night for the South Florida, North Florida Blitz beginning again at 7:30. Good night.
Good night.